We're so glad to be back with you for today's episode because we continue what we have started yesterday talking about how every discussion is a negotiation. So, if we remember yesterday, we started and also like we've covered like those questions last week. We asked fundamental question for any discussion, okay, that take place in every days of your life. It could be at work, it could be with your spouse, it could be with your colleagues, with your friends. So Sylvain, do you remember what were those two questions?
Of course, it was yesterday. Okay, first question. What does everyone wants? It's to find the hidden subject, the subject that it's not officially mentioned. Second question, how are we going to make choice together? If it was said that the first was often the most intuitive, but the second,
Yeah. And this is what we will be tackling today, trying to understand how that second question about what are the parameters that will take place in the discussion. So it's, yes, it is a bit more difficult. And to help us understand, we're going to talk about a myth. Okay, a myth that probably kills a lot of relationship and conversation throughout the years. It's the idea that when you are in that kind of negotiation, if you approach a discussion in a way that in order to win something, the other person must necessarily lose.
yes, it's like the famous concept of the pie or the cake. People think that if I take a slice of pie, there's less for you. Okay. In my store, we see it all the time. The customer wants to pay less. I want to sell more. So we have the impression that it's a trench warfare. So we have to navigate, okay, that he is feeling that he wins, and I have the feeling that I win.
Yeah. So we want to get to that stage that, yes, in every situation, every part of the discussion can be a winner. So this is what we will discover. So how like the best communicator in the world can actually get to that point. And this is coming from like a study made like in Harvard. They have created like a project. They call it the Harvard Negotiation Project. So it's a new way of seeing it. So their goal is not to divide the pie, but it's to expand it. So we will talk about like expand the pie. We will see how to transform any confrontation into what we call a creative lesson. So let's do a little bit of history. Okay, so Sylvain, before 1979, okay, negotiation was seen always as a zero sum game. So, yes, if I win $10, it means that you're losing $10 because there is there is a specific amount of money, let's say, and like we cannot win both the exact same amount. But that group of Harvard professor, so they are Fisher, Urey, and Patton, okay, they have published a cult book, a book that still to this days is talked about, is named Getting to Yes. So they say, stop fighting for position, fight for interest.
Okay. So can you explain the difference? Because that's what everything's come down to us in business or in our MLM.
Yeah, we often know that in business, a lot of our discussion is like to get a win at some point. So, what is a position? A position is what you say you want concretely. So, let's get back to your example in the store when you talk about the customer saying, I want to pay less. So, the customer say, I want this Tupperware at 25% off. This is a position. It's based on the price, let's say, or the discount. But what is behind that? What is the interest? The interest is why you want it. Okay, so it's a second layer. Okay, so let's say that for that same client, why he wants it is because he's on a tight budget this month, but he really need to organize the leftover because he want to stop wasting. So if actually both of the part, okay, stay in their position. The price, I want to have a discount or I want to sell, okay, at that price because I need money to pay my rent and all of that. We get stuck. But when we got on that second layer of interest, which about like saving money on groceries, organize, don't have like waste in the leftover, then we can make the pie bigger because knowing the why, those interests, we can build something on that and get to a new solution. So I know, Sylvain, you have a couple examples.
Yes, I love the example of the two sisters. So we heard it sometimes, and so we have two sisters, and they are fighting. There's only one orange left, and they are fighting. Okay, I need the orange. I want it. No, I want it. Okay, so if the we want to do a compromise, okay, we can say, okay, we're gonna cut it in half, 50-50, but it's like a mediocre compromise. Okay, but if we go deeper and we ask the question, okay, so why do you want the orange? Okay, so you're gonna discover the reason. And the first sister, they say, oh, I want to drink it. I want to have an orange juice. Oh, okay. And the second one, we ask, why do you want it? Oh, I want to peel the zest. I want to make a cake. Oh, okay. So now we can satisfy both. Okay. So the first one can zest the orange and the other one can drink it. And that way we have a 50-50. So we can enlarge the pie and both are satisfied with the solution.
Yeah. And if you think of that example, like if you get the image, let's say you have the movie of the story that you've just talked, you can realize that they get more than just 50-50. They get the entire orange. So by peeling it, like there is quite nothing left, and after pressing it they're just like the leftover of the orange. So yes, it's such a great example. So this is what exactly the author was reminding us. So negotiation is not a battle, it's an act of creativity. It's about creating a solution that at first wasn't there, and if we stay in our position that we can't see. So I know that you have another example, Sylvain.
Yeah, but I need solution. Okay, so you're gonna help me with this one. So there's one of my recruit. She wants to have. She works in the office. Okay, and she wants to receive a pay raise. So she go and she asked for a pay raise of $5,000 because living is expensive. Okay, grocery and everything. So the boss say no because the budget is frozen. It's impossible. So is it the end of the discussion? She wants to have $5,000 more, and the boss say no because he cannot, break the budget. Okay, go over the budget. So what can we do?
Yeah. So if we get back to what I just said, it's not a battle, it's an act of creativity. So you need now to work as what they call an artist. Become that artist. So if the employees is staying on its position, which is I want more money, he will lose because he's against the boss that say the budget is frozen. But if they go on that second layer of interest, now they can like build something. So what is the interest of that employee? Is to increase its purchasing power and its free time. So what can the employee propose? He can ask, well, since you can increase my salary, could you pay for like a training, a new training that I want, a formation that I want to follow? Okay, it's good for you because you can put that like in your business tax credit, and it will give me my Friday afternoon so I can work on my project. So here in that situation, the boss wins. Why? Because he keep his employee, okay, a good one and a performing one, without increasing his payroll. And for the employee, he wins also, okay, because he can study, okay, without have to paying it. He's saving money. He have time for his business. So there, they have get to the point where they created a value for both of the part.
Yeah, and that reminds me, sometimes we have negotiation with, the doctors or the nurse, and he was telling that we have to. So if we stay on our position, it doesn't work. But if we became creative, so he said we can add something new out of nowhere, and that way it's going to, have new discussion. So I love that example, and I was thinking, okay, my God, we always have negotiation. I don't know if it happens to you. Okay, tell me, who doesn't put an ad on marketplace and it doesn't go like you want? So let's say I have a couch and I want to sell my couch. And it's written, okay, $500. Okay, and he calls me and he said, okay, I'm gonna take a look at the couch, and he came here and he say, oh, okay, but I cannot pay $500. I'm going to give you 350. So I am insulted because, that was clear. It was $500. He said, okay, I cannot give you more than 350. So it's a war of number. So I can stay on my position and I'm going to lose because I'm going to lose the sale. And he's going to lose because he's not going to have what he wants.
Yeah.
Okay. So, new solution. Okay. So we have to go deeper and ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So why you get stuck on your price at $350? So maybe he's going to say, oh, you know what? I need a truck. Okay, I have to do the delivery. I have to ask my uncle to help me. Okay, and I live two floor up, so I need to hire someone to help me to move that couch. Okay, so the solution you can propose, okay, so I'm going to give you at $500, but I'm going to do the delivery with my son. Okay, we're gonna do it together, and that way you're gonna pay $500, and you don't have to take care of a truck, you don't have to take care of moving that piece. Okay, and I'm gonna win because that was my price. Okay, so I give something, he gives something, and we make a bigger pie or a bigger cake for that way.
Yeah. So here, what is really important about what we just said, okay? It's about like understanding the other part and the other quotes, like in the book. If you want the other party to appreciate your interest, start by demonstrating that you value theirs. So it's really a golden rule in conversation. So even if you don't immediately learn what the other person wants, because sometimes they even don't know really what they want, you're doing something crucial. So you're encouraging them to listen to you, and in return, you can both listen to each other. So it's really, if I'm showing interest in your interest, then obviously you are now in a mood, in a stage where you can understand my interest. And starting from there, you can build something different.
So listening is the first, it's the basis, okay? But this is not enough. So once we listen, we must answer our second question. And the second question is, how are we going to decide together? Okay, what are the rule of this conversation?
Yeah. And how can we do that? Okay, so what's is interesting is that in every conversation, okay, we have to experiment. And we do that naturally, sometimes without even realizing it. Okay, so we test. So let's say that this is something that I use very often. I make a joke. Like I know how to bound on what people have to say. So I make a joke to make them laugh. Okay, or sometimes you can interrupt a conversation, or you can remain formal. So those experiment, placing a joke, okay, interrupt somebody, staying in a very formal vocabulary. This is how you will test, okay, how people have to react.
Yeah, and Jean-Philippe, we see it often. Probably you see it at the boutique. So we have, let's say, two customer. Okay, the one come in the boutique and they go straight away on the chopper. Okay, and they look at the chopper, they look at the price, they look at the second one, okay, and the third one. We have like three sizes, and they're like on a hurry, and they left. Okay, so this one, I just want to say, hey, hello, how are you? Okay, take your time, look at this. But I know he's just looking for a price. Okay, so he's on a hurry and he's going to leave. The other one, it's maybe he heard about the chopper, and he came and he looked at the chopper and he pulled the cord. So him, I'm going to offer him, yeah, let's say you want to try it. Okay, I have carrots here. So you are going to try it. So we negotiate the way that the conversation will go. Okay, the one is more on the hurry. I'm not going to offer her a try, because I see that she's just looking for the price and she just want to run away. Okay, and the other one, it's more, she touch. So this is how we can do it, and this is how we negotiate the conversation.
Yeah. So remember, when you get after like experiment, like throwing a sentence, a joke, or something to somebody, there you are an artist. This is where you will build the rest of the conversation. So don't get stuck on the position, as we just said. Just be sure that you get to that second level. So if you're stuck on a salary, okay, well, it will be really hard like for you to work on something. But instead, add something in the discussion. So if they say, I want that, but I'm not ready to pay that. Okay, I can't lower the price, but if we gave you a gift of $15, is that something that could be possible? So what is happening is that you have a new information now in the discussion.
Yes.
And yes, go Sylvain.
No, I love it. And it's like, when we enlarge the pie, okay, in our MLM, it's crucial. Sometimes we say that we people, they don't have time for the business. Okay, they say, it's look interesting, but I have the no time. I want to spend my time with my family. So I'm gonna lose her. Okay, so now, how can we enlarge the pie? So we can make family time a priority with Tupperware. You can cook with your kids. Okay, you can involve your kids in that business, and that way you're gonna spend quality time. We have Melanie Beauchamp. She did it with her sister, and we have so many people that that business make them bound with their teenager, or because they are having a project together. Okay, and we are cooking together, and we always say that it brought people together.
Yeah.
And that reminds me when we were in a Tupperware party. So when we used to do a Tupperware party, we always have that lady that she said, "Oh, I don't have time to do a Tupperware party. Okay, I am always on a rush during the week." So one of argument. So if I just listen to her, I'm gonna lose the way that I'm gonna have a party, and I can not help her. And if she said no, so she's going to lose all the product that she wants. Okay, having it for them for free or at half price. So my solution was, you are always on a hurry, and probably your friends are the same. Okay, so let's say we invest 2 hours for a party, but that 2 hours, I'm going to give you some tricks to help you to get organized. I'm going to give you solution to get organized, and that way you're going to save 2 to 3 hours per week. So what do you think? Is it a good way that you are going to it's going to change your the way you organize your house? And of course, I'm going to she said yes. Okay, so that reminds me that the way that when we use creativity, we can add new solution.
Yeah. So what we need to remember is that on a daily basis, it's happened all the time, even like in recurring discussion. So in the book, we have like an example that is really like something that probably happen every week, if not like sometimes every day. Okay, so let's say that a young couple, okay, they talk about who's going to pick the children, okay, and do the grocery shopping. So it sounds like a normal couple like discussion and argument, but what the other said is we really need like to understand that silent negotiation, that it's about value.
Yes. So because basically what we negotiate is, do you respect my time? Is my work is important as yours?
Yeah. So it's really as like those things won't be said, okay, in the discussion, but we really have to understand. So who's going to pick the children and do the shopping? So on the surface, it looks banal, okay? But in reality, in the subtext is asking yourself, am I doing enough to help? Okay. And the solution does not come by fighting. It comes by adding options. So for example, okay, one of the partner can say, what if I do the shopping and the dishes and you go get the children and fold the laundry?
Yes, I love it. And maybe another proposal is, okay, I want to respect your time and work is important. So what if I order takeout and ask my brother, okay, to pick up the kids, okay? So that way we can both come home late. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna find a third way, another solution. So that way we are going to expanding the pie. So we don't fight over. Okay, it's like a midway solution. So we enlarge the space of possibilities. We have invented a new solution that doesn't exist at the beginning, but we became creative and create a new one.
Yeah. So the purpose of that first question, okay, though, so what is really about, okay, is a conversation to help everyone, okay, to agree on the topic of how are we going to make decision together. So by understanding that principle of win-win, of enlarging the pie, okay, it goes from me against you to us against the problem that we share.
Oh my God, I love it. It's powerful. So we against the problem. If I say to my new hire, the problem is that you want more income, but you're afraid of failure. How can we build a plan together to make you feel safe? So my new recruit, she wants to make more money, but she is afraid of failing. So okay, how can we build something new? So we are going to enlarge the pie, and I'm no longer the boss. I am someone who help you to succeed, and in the business we are going to find a new solution.
Yes, great. So, Sylvain, if we summarize what we've covered today for our listener, okay? Number one, we talk about negotiation is not a battle, okay, for a slice of pie. It's an exercise of creativity to make the pie bigger. Second, okay, we've talked about how can we do that. We need to get out of our position and look for interest, which is not only what do you want, but ask why. What is important for you in that and why it is important. And finally, how you can do that, you can find those parameters is by experiment. Okay, so you can add item to the table, okay, add new solution, add new ways of thinking, throw a joke, okay, try to look for information instead of staying stuck on the price and the fact. You really try to dig, okay, to another layer.
I love it, love it. Okay, so I have a challenge for you. Okay, so next time you're gonna argue with someone, okay, you're at home or you are with your new recruit, okay. So instead of just disagreeing and cutting the orange in two, okay, so do like the sister did, okay. They ask second question, okay, to find the hidden ingredient, okay. Ask, if we forget the price for 2 seconds, what is your goal with this project? Okay, ask a deeper question so that way you can enlarge the pie and you can find something different.
Yes. So the pie is always bigger than you think. Okay. So see yourself as somebody that needs to cook together. Okay, so keep that image, that metaphor in mind. And on that, we will see you next week with Sylvain. Tomorrow morning, I will be with Marie-Pierre for our new book. We start a new one, Let Them by Mel Robbins. So see you tomorrow at 8 and with Sylvain next Monday.